Okay, my goal for this video is to show you how to easily create an outline in Noodle Tools. So the first thing I need to do, I'm here on my projects, my main board here, and I'm going to click on Holocaust. And when I do, that's going to take me to my dashboard, which really isn't my favorite board. I like sources and note cards. So I'm going to show you sources here. We don't really need it right now, but I'm just going to remind you that when we created our note cards, we were creating from this sources page. So we haven't really seen the note cards page, which we'll check next. But we created all the note cards from here so that we can make sure that the notes were linked back to the sources where they were used. Now you'll see why that was important as we move over here to note cards. So here's my note cards. And I have already kind of created an outline. So I'm going to walk you back through just very quickly a couple of things here. First of all, the first time you click on this page, all of your cards are going to be stacked right here over top of each other. That's okay. You can pull them out one by one. That's what I did. You can grab these cards and you can move them anywhere on the tabletop. Heck, sometimes you can even move them off the tabletop. They'll apparently disappear, but you've got your bird's eye view here. So if you're losing a card somewhere, you can just go up there and grab it and drag it back down onto your tabletop. Okay, so when you're doing a much bigger project, having that big extra tabletop is a heck of a lot of help. Okay, so here's all my note cards. I'm not going to use them all. I decided on the 5 that I wanted to use, and I dragged them over, and I made an outline out of them. So I'm going to show you a couple of things just by messing with that outline a little bit. First of all, if I pull that card back off of there, you'll see that I have some things, well, I've populated my outline. In fact, you know what? Let me just pull all this off and I'll do it all over for you again. Let's get rid of those. Okay, so I don't have anything in my outline. When you first look at it, this isn't going to actually say the name of anything. It's going to say topic. So your outline is already populated with a topic and a subtopic. I know my topic is Adolf Eichmann, so I double click on that to open it up. ADOLFEICHMANN, and when I hit enter, it automatically turns. I don't need this subtopic, but I'm just going to leave it there. It doesn't hurt anything to be there. I want to move my cards by dragging them over and dropping them in the Adolf Eichmann pile. So I'm going to grab this kidnapping card and I'm going to drag it over there. And when Adolf Eichmann lights up, I can drop it and you'll see that the card pops right underneath it. Now you also see that there's a little check mark here. That means I've already used that card. I don't need to use it again. So I'm going to come over here to arrest, drop it under Adolf Eichmann, and it pops in as the next one. And I want Mercedes-Benz, and I want Argentina, and I want final solution. If you're wondering why the cards are called this is a really helpful thing when you're doing a research project. If you can tell yourself what's on each card, then you don't have to reread the card every time. So I kind of have a basic idea of what these cards are about just by these little one-word titles. This one is about the kidnapping, and then there's a heck of a lot more information on there, but I kind of know what that's about. I know what the arrest is about. I know what Mercedes-Benz is about. So I know what those different cards are about. I can just tell which one's which by those little titles. So those titles on your note cards can be really helpful. We're not, when you get to high school and you're doing 50, 60, 80, 100 cards, you're not going to want to have to read every single card when you're putting them back in order. So these little titles can be helpful. All right, so now I come over to the outline over here and my stuff's not in the right order. I know that the first thing that's going to be here is final solution. So there's a couple of things I can do. I'll show you this way. First of all, you can just click on it and drag it up to where you want it to be and drop it into its spot. That's really easy. Another thing you can do is you can click on the one that you want to move, and you can use your up and down arrows to move one at a time down. And let me see here. So I'm going to stick that one. Now I'm pretty sure I've got those in the order that I want them. And if they're in the order that I want them, now I can move on to what's kind of really important about this. I want to move my outline. So it would be really nice if this button said export instead of print, but we got to use what they gave us. So it says print. I'm going to click on that, and I'm going to be tempted to export to Google Docs, but I do not want to do that. I want to move my outline with note cards. So when you do your outline with note cards, make sure that's what you're clicking on. Boom. and then it'll give us the opportunity to export that to Google Docs. So Google Docs is the second step here, but that's an important second step because otherwise it's going to mess things up for you. Now, it gives us a whole lot of note card items to print, and we can select or deselect any of these. We definitely want the first one, the source. We want the URL, and we want the page numbers. We don't have any tags. Our project's not big enough. We don't have any cues. We do have quotations. We don't have anything where we wrote my ideas, and we're not doing the project with anybody else, so we don't have a history or creator. I'm also going to advise you get rid of the quotation. It'll just clear things up. It'll keep it from being cluttered. We want this particular piece to have your words on it, not the quoted words. So let's get rid of the quotation, and now we can submit it. And when we submit it, this is going to give us a Google Doc. And you'll see that my Google Doc is popping up. And when it pops up, it's going to give me my outline. My topic is Adolf Eichmann. And now as I go down through, it left me the spots for, I'm sorry, no, that's not true. It's telling me what the title of my card is. It's telling me what my source is. It's telling me my pages, my paragraph number. That's really important. And here's my paraphrase. So what I'm going to do here is a couple of things. First of all, I am going to take that text and I'm going to copy it. I'm just going to head down to the bottom of it, bottom of the page somewhere down here. And I'm going to copy that sentence or paste that sentence. Now I'm going to go back. Oh, I know that that comes from that source, but I'm going to leave that alone for right now. I'll come back to that. Here's my second one. My second piece of information. Here's my sentence. I'm going to Control C for that. Come down here and paste that right in there. What I'm doing is I'm basically creating my paragraph now, just by taking my own words and dropping them in place. Control C and Control V. Whoops, got too much. Control C, Control V. You may be wondering why I seem to be selecting stuff backwards. I start at the end of the sentence and go to the beginning. I found a long time ago that it helps me, it keeps me from scrolling too far down and the page go flying away from me. And it just seems to make things a little easier. Maybe it's because I'm left-handed. I don't think it is, but I think there's something a little more strategic to that. But okay, so here are all my sentences. Here's all my information. I could have done this in a different way, but anyway, so I've put my paragraph together, but I don't have my citations yet, and that's what the next video is going to tell you about.